Can we build a Horizon Walker Ranger from D&D in Elden Ring? Absolutely. But is it any good? Check this out. Hello everyone, I am Slightly Lost and welcome back to a series where I attempt to recreate D&D subclasses using Elden Ring's mechanics as respectfully as possible. So if you've never played D&D before, Rangers are similar to fighters but with the ability to cast a few spells. They're generally viewed as one of the weakest classes in D&D, but I really don't think that's true. Some subclasses are clearly better than others, but Rangers can have some serious damage numbers. Horizon Walkers are certainly no exception. With the special ability to change all the damage they deal into force damage, a rarely resisted damage type, and even the ability to teleport at later levels without using a spell slot or an action, they can really control a battlefield. And since Rangers are usually seen as the long-range class, we'll be culminating all of that into one of the most fun builds I've ever made. Without further ado, let's get into the build. To start off, we'll be picking the Samurai starting class. This will end up being a quality build, so the higher dex isn't especially helpful compared to Vagabond's starting stats, but having a longbow in our arsenal immediately gives us more of that ranger over fighter vibe, plus the one extra starting point into mind doesn't hurt early on either. At level 50, you'll want 30 vigor, 13 mind, 30 endurance, and 16 strength. This gives us a ton of early HP and stamina, and enough strength to wield our melee weapon of choice. At level 100, you'll need 35 vigor, 24 mind, 35 endurance, 30 strength, and 30 dexterity. We've now hit our desired mind stat and won't be putting any more levels there. We've also flown past the requirements for our preferred ranged weapon. At level 150, you'll have 50 vigor, 50 endurance, 40 strength, and 40 dexterity. Now we've hit the cap for endurance and won't be placing any more levels there. Finally, at level 200, your stats will be 60 vigor, 60 strength, and 60 dexterity. The perfect stat spread for any quality build. In terms of equipment, we'll be using the Claymore with a quality affinity and the Stormblade Ash of War. Any Storm Ash of War will do, honestly, but I chose this one because even with our melee weapon, we still have a nice ranged option. We'll also be pairing it with the Inverted Hawk Crest Shield with the Stormwall Ash of War to give us a solid blocking and parrying option when we can. Lastly, to give us a superior ranged option, we'll be using the Great Bow with the Rain of Arrows Ash of War. If you're willing to deal with the painful farm for them, using this Ash of War with the Golem's Great Arrows will melt anything in range. For our talismans, we're using anything we can to increase our stamina, since we'll be burning through that like it's nothing, and increase our damage output with either weapon. In our first slot, we'll have the Erdtree's Favor +2 to increase our HP, stamina, and equip load. Secondly, we'll have the Green Turtle Talisman, or the Two-Headed Turtle Talisman if you have the DLC, to increase our stamina recovery speed. In our third slot, we have the Shard of Alexander, since we'll be regularly using the Ash of War of both of our weapons. And finally, in our fourth slot, there are a few options we could put here. If you have the DLC, we'll use the Enraged Divine Beast Talisman to increase the damage of our Stormblade, or the Arrow's Soaring Sting Talisman for our ranged weapon. If you don't have the DLC, you can still use the Arrow's Sting Talisman to increase our ranged weapon, but there isn't a solid replacement for the Enraged Divine Beast, so I would recommend the Carrion Filigreed Crest to be able to use our Stormblade more often before needing to drink a cerulean flask. As always, our armor of choice is pick your favorite, as long as you hit that 51 poise threshold. I've chosen the Iron Casa, the Zamor Armor, Radahn's Gauntlets, and the Scaled Greaves. This gives us exactly 51 poise, and it became one of my favorite armor combinations. It looks great. In our Wondrous Physic, we're going to do everything we can to keep our stamina up because we use so much of it. So we'll be using both the Green Spill and the Green Burst crystal tiers to increase our maximum stamina and our stamina recovery rate. For Great Runes, my go-to and all reliable is always Radahn's Great Rune, which, while activated, gives us an additional 15% HP, FP, and stamina. The big thing here is the stamina increase, but the HP and FP boosts don't hurt either. With all that number crunching out of the way, let's see how it plays. And that is how you make a Horizon Walker Ranger from D&D in Elden Ring. Did you like what you saw? What would you change to make the build even more accurate to the source material? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye, adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, and if I don't see you tomorrow, have a wonderful day.